Just ahead on CTV News.
Family, friends, and teammates all gather to say their final farewell to two beloved football stars. I'm Katara Jones in Upper Marlboro. I have all those details on their celebration of life coming up on CTV News.
Plus, the 2024 Olympics kicks off in Paris today. And we sit down with one of the at-large candidates. Those stories and more, CTV News starts now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for July 26th. I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. Hundreds of loved ones gather to honor the lives of two rising stars that were taken from our community too soon. Their names were Kyrie Jackson and Isaiah Hazel. CTV's Katara Jones is at the funeral for these young men with more.
That's right, Mariah. The mood here at the First Baptist Church of Glenarden International is a somber one, as so many people came out to the funeral services of Kyrie Jackson and Isaiah Hazel. Now, Jackson and Hazel both had a huge impact on the Prince George's County community, as they were both Wise High School graduates, and they both played football there, where they both became state champions.
We're all very devastated. This is a complete shock.
Hundreds of people gathered to honor the life of Minnesota Viking rookie Kyrie Jackson and his best friend and fellow high school teammate Isaiah Hazel. The pair, along with their friend Anthony Litton, died in a car crash in the county on July 6th.
We've actually known his family before he was born, and I remember when he was growing up and we used to go over to the house for family functions, and he used to say, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, even though he was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. Kyrie was a good young gentleman. He did what he needed to do to accomplish his goals. So it's really a sad loss that he's not with us anymore.
Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell spoke about the young man he never had a chance to coach.
He loved football, had a unique football journey, as many do. And in the process of learning about that, we knew it had taught him who he was going to be in the National Football League, a matured version of himself, well on his way to success that was out in front of him.
Hazel's school teacher says he suffered from dyslexia, but that it didn't stop him from reaching his goals.
He set goals to become a better reader, a better public speaker, understanding that he had to put in that work to be a role model for the younger kids. Not many people know that he not only worked hard on the football field, but on his academic skills as well.
All three men played football at Wise High School and helped the team win a championship. Assistant coach Vincent Young had this to say about the type of players that Hazel and Jackson were.
They were always together. That's something that we preached at Wise High School. To be a brotherhood, and it's just very unfortunate the circumstances that happened, but they were definitely exceptional athletes, excelling, continuing to play football, and this is a very devastating time for us.
An investigation into the fatal car crash is still ongoing. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are the latest to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris in her efforts to become the 2024 Democratic presidential nominee. Harris's campaign shared a video from the campaign trail showing the moment the call came in.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me.
President Obama has been a fundraising powerhouse for Democrats since leaving office. Already this year, the former president raised more than $50 million for the Biden-Harris campaign. The 2024 Olympics kicked off today with the opening ceremony in Paris, France. This year, rapper Snoop Dogg had the honor of carrying the Olympic torch. Although the games are taking place nearly 5,000 miles away, you can support the 24 DMV athletes right here in the county. Today, the National Harbor kicked things off in the county with an opening ceremony parade of nations. At the top of each hour, viewers are invited to compete in the National Harbor Summer Games, which include basketball, long jump, and a balance beam. A Prince George's judge becomes Governor Wes Moore's first appointment to the Maryland Supreme Court. Judge Peter Killow was appointed to serve on the highest court in the state today. Judge Killow has served as an associate judge on the Circuit Court for Prince George's County since 2018. In a statement, Governor Moore said, "Today, the Supreme Court gains a talented, dedicated, and thoughtful leader who will help ensure equal justice under the law for all Marylanders." Judge Killow can take his place on the bench soon, but he will still go through the formal confirmation process when the General Assembly begins in January. And Maryland is on track to become one of the greenest states in the nation. This comes after Governor Wes Moore announces $130 million in pollution reduction grants from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The move hopes to support the creation of thousands of new green jobs. The grants will also support workforce training on emerging charging technology to make Maryland more competitive in electrifying the transportation sector. And state and local officials are rolling out a multi-million-dollar green infrastructure plan that's set to transform our community. There are 3 major projects. The first one is aiming to tackle flood control of the Anacostia River watershed. There's also a major push to make it easier and safer for pedestrians and bicyclists to connect with the metro, especially in the area near West Hyattsville. And for those in underserved communities, there's a plan to update utility services. We caught up with Edmonston Town Council member Sarah Stuberville to get her take on how these projects will affect her town.
In September of 2020, notwithstanding us having some really important infrastructure like these levees and the pumping station, we had a flash flood, and it severely damaged over 90 homes in our community. Once everything was said and done, we had filled up over 630 roller dumpsters full of debris. And most of that was because our stormwater system was simply unable to manage the deluge. I mean, this is a source of constant concern and conversation in our town, but it's not something that we have the resources to deal with ourselves.
Meantime, 6 people are charged for illegal car rallies that took place around the county. The Maryland Car Rally Task Force has been investigating illegal exhibition driving events since June, and it says the activities involve dangerous stunts, disrupt traffic, cause property damage, and can even end in death in the case of one car rally in Fort Washington that became a deadly shooting. The 6 individuals charged were from areas in and around the county and are all aged 24 or younger. You're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad. Still to come, could a local camp for kids be producing the next big star?
Entering from stage left at the Bowie Performing Arts Center, and some local kids are going to show me how to own the big stage here on CTV News.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
Welcome back. The next Broadway professionals are being trained right here in Prince George's County. The Bowie Center for the Performing Arts held a summer camp training kids from 8 to 13 in singing, acting, and dancing. CTV's Bryce Parker has more.
Places, everyone. It's showtime, and the kids at the BCPA Broadway Bound Summer Camp have been preparing a performance for the ages.
It's nice to see by the end, you have this whole ensemble, and they're all like confident and standing on stage and presenting their best selves.
I'm most excited just to see how the crowd reacts to like what we're doing, because even though we only had 2 weeks to do it, it was just a lot of practice and effort.
Every Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, these kids went through a rotation of acting, singing, and dancing classes to prepare them for the final showcase.
Well, I'm excited, first of all, for the dance, because I'm not really a dance person, but since I've been doing it up there, I've been getting a lot better.
Wilder and Burgess have both seen this camp from its inaugural summer just 3 years ago and have got the chance to witness the growth in the program, themselves, and the kids.
Last year, we had 14 kids, all girls, love them to death. Most of them came back this year, but now we have 32 kids this year, and we have 6 boys.
Whether you fell in love with the stage the very moment you witnessed a theater,
I've been doing it since I was like in 3rd grade. My sister introduced me to the play Hamilton, and I just fell in love with theater ever since.
or it's your very first time, this camp can be a place for personal growth as well as an opportunity for empowerment.
One reason why I always come back is because the counselors look like me, and in a lot of camps there isn't always a lot of that.
When I was coming up, that was not a thing. I don't think I ever had an instructor of color in my entire K-12 education process. It shows them again, I can do anything. Because
Don't be scared about what other people might think about how you're doing any acting, dancing, or singing, because everyone here is your friend.
Me, 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 me. Well, it's obvious that I'm no triple threat, but these kids right here, they are the future of Broadway, and they are homegrown, ready to rock the stage. From Bowie, I'm Bryce Parker, CTV News.
Thanks, Bryce. I wasn't expecting those pipes. The students held their showcase today at 3 p.m. The story followed 2 kids time traveling from ancient Egypt to the year 2077. And the Metro Fest celebration is this Saturday at Branch Avenue. Metro General Manager Randy Clark will welcome members of the community, as well as transit lovers, to Branch Avenue Station for a day of arts, games, and entertainment at no cost. Metro Fest will be coming to Prince George's County after a wildly successful turnout in Virginia. Come out and learn about transit while taking a rail car or the historic Rosa Parks bus. Festivities start at 10 a.m. and end at 2 p.m. And heads up, commuters, your Sunday travel on Metro could be impacted. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday, the blue, orange, and silver Metro lines will have reduced service due to track work near the Potomac Avenue Metro Rail Station. The blue line will be shortened, and orange and silver line trains will single track. A Lanham-based online education company files for bankruptcy and plans to go private to cut down its nearly $1 billion in debt. 2U Incorporated partnered with high-profile universities to offer online courses, but it struggled with new competition in the market. The company is $945 million in debt, but bankruptcy proceedings will allow it to cut that amount nearly in half, then reemerge as a private company. And warm those pipes up just like Bryce, because karaoke is coming to the National Harbor. You may know karaoke club Live K from its location at the Wharf in D.C., and its owner just signed a deal to open a location twice that size here at the harbor. And with 25 private rooms, don't worry about stage fright. You'll be able to belt your heart out in the company of your own party. Live K is set to open by fall 2025. And yesterday we showed you how a basic squat and lunge can be a beginning exercise to get you started on a healthy regimen. Today we kick it up a notch with planking. CTV's Michaela Newton is in the studio with fitness instructor Jackie Dalsimer demonstrating how to do a proper plank.
Very good. And you want to build up to about a minute for your plank. Start at like 20 to 30 seconds. So we'll come down to the mat. We're going to put our elbows underneath the shoulders and then just extend the left leg and then the right leg so that our body's in a straight line. So you want to watch so that your hips aren't up high. You want to bring them down right till you feel maximum tension. Also avoiding dropping down like this. So keep that belly button drawn in and then just hold this here.
And then what are some ways that if you might be older, this is too much for you, how can you
you can come down onto your knees and start here as well. Or just hold this for as long as you can. If it's only 10 seconds, you drop down. I tell people count to 3, then come right back up and just build up that length of time that you're holding. You can do a lot with the planks. You can do side planks, you can do reverse planks. So would you like to try the side plank?
Yeah, let's try those.
This one's a little bit more challenging, so I'll come down on my left side. So I start with knees bent, and again, the elbow is underneath the shoulder, and you just press the hip up. So this is the first part. If this is easy, you extend one leg, and then hold here. If that's easy, then you can come up onto both legs and hold. And just like the other plank, you're just holding as long as you can and trying to build up. For people that this is maybe not as challenging, you can lift the top leg as well. So you can do a lot of different things, but this is great for core strength and to help with posture.
Yeah.
So you're feeling that
Yes.
one, right? All right.
Perfect.
Good job.
Good job.
Yes.
That's great. All right, so thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank
And
you for having me.
Before we go, what are some final tips that you can kind of give our audience?
Definitely nutrition is very, very important. So you want to make sure you're eating nutrient-dense foods of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats.
Perfect. All right, Jackie, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michaela. For more information about Coach Jackie, you can go to her website at coachjackie.com. And still to come on CTV News, I sit down with candidate for at-large seat, Tamara Davis Brown. Don't move.
Why is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose. What makes us tick? Below the surface. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community. Living with sincerity, giving every day my everything. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. For some, their why is a summer under stars, memories and moments, connections near and far. Why is the before work hustle, an after school home, a section of my block, a corner to call my own. Our reason why is united, undivided, seeking understanding. Here, a handshake is a promise. All our hearts are dancing. Laughing is our song. It's kinship, friendship, tide rising with the ship. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why for a better us.
I'm the Big C.
What is the Big C?
I'm here to tell you about skin cancer. Skin cancer is the cancer you can see. If we see something new, changing, or unusual, that could be skin cancer.
Is there skin cancer on me right now?
I'm not a dermatologist, but you know who is?
Yeah.
Your dermatologist.
Yes.
You gotta get checked, girl.
Do I?
Yes! Everybody has to get checked. See the Big C today.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
The special election for the county council's at-large seat is less than 2 weeks away. CTV has introduced or reacquainted you with each of those candidates since the election was announced. And joining us in the studio today is candidate Tamara Davis Brown. Ms. Brown, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I want to talk about your background a little bit just to get people introduced to you. You haven't held public office before, but I know that you've been active in the community. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So I moved to the county in 1988 when I came to the D.C. area to attend Howard University School of Law, and I actually lived with a friend of mine from undergraduate. Their parents lived in Fort Washington, Maryland, and they allowed me to stay there for free for 3 years. And so after I graduated
graduated, I loved the area, decided to make Prince George's County my home, and started to be very active at Howard. They train us to be social engineers, which means regardless of the type of law you practice, you are to use your legal skills and degree to be a benefit to your community. And I've done just that. And so my activism and advocacy has been to make sure that Prince Georgians know and understand what the legislation really means. I break down the legalese and break it down to layman's terms so they'll understand what the law and how it impacts them and how they can advocate for, a better quality of life.
So what makes you the right choice for this at-large seat this year?
Well, I think integrity is on the ballot, and what makes me the right choice is that the advocacy that I have done has to do primarily with zoning and land use. The Prince George's County Council sits at about on 60% to 70% of the time. They're sitting as a district council on zoning and land use matters. Then they also sit as the Board of Health and then deal with legislative and budget items. But the bulk of what they do is the land and zoning matters, and that's what I have been doing and being active and involved in over the last 20 plus years with a lot of success. We've fought some development that we thought was not right for our county and for our area, and we've gotten what we wanted for the most part. We've been very successful in that. And so I think bringing that background, I was a part of a first cohort of the Park and Planning's Planning Academy, a 6 weeks program. No one else has actually done that in terms of being a candidate for this. And then I think the last thing is that I'll be a voice for the people. The county council so often hears from developers and special interests, but rarely do they hear from the constituents that they actually serve. And that's primarily because a lot of the hearings, a lot of the meetings are during the day and people are at work. And the at-large position, it particularly gives you the opportunity to be that voice for the entire county.
So let's get to some of the major issues that are going to be coming up this year in the council. I want to talk about affordable housing. Sure. What are your plans to make that more accessible to county residents?
So I think the county needs to do a better job in terms of actually owning property itself. So one idea is to have a land bank and actually allow the county to buy. We have some of the highest foreclosures. Buy some of that property that's either going to auction or up for sale, and that we can use as a tool and a stepping stone for those who may need a little bit of help in terms of whether it's a victim of domestic violence, whether it's a young person that's just graduating and out of college or getting into their trade and trying to move forward. And so what I'd like for us to do is to be more of the home buying aspect and home and land aspect within the county so that we can create the programs that are needed for affordable housing. The other thing that we need to do a better job of is securing federal funds from HUD, other organizations, other federal organizations that allow for help with home ownership, whether the home ownership could be that it's your first apartment and you just still need some help with rent, for example. The county council has done a good job and just recently allowing for rent stabilization. I applaud that and I love that. I want to continue to work with the county council on doing rent stabilization to make sure that Prince George's County is affordable for everyone.
Moving forward, I want to talk about making the county welcoming to business owners and supporting the businesses that we already have here. What are some plans to make that happen and, help bolster the economy in the county?
So actually, I think the county has a very good EDC, Economic Development Corporation. What I think is lacking is that some of the benefits that they actually have are actually not being publicized enough. I'm a small business owner myself. I started my own broadband company, Last Mile Broadband of Maryland, where we provide high-speed internet service to the rural and underserved areas in the state. And and nationally as well. And we were able to participate in an incubator program. A lot of small businesses in Prince George's businesses are not taking advantage of some of the work that the EDC is doing. And so I'm hoping that by being a small business advocate on the council, I do want to continue the work that the councilman that resigned this seat has done for small businesses to continue working in that vein. In terms of the larger business and what we can do to try to attract commercial here, I think we need to specify and try to help make Prince George's a niche for something. Technology obviously is something that's important to me. Like I said, broadband would be a great niche for the county.
All right, well, thank you very much, Ms. Brown. That's all the time we have today, but I appreciate you coming here and talking to us about these very important issues.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, make sure to tune in to CTV News for continuous election coverage. And just a reminder, early voting starts Wednesday, July 31st. Visit the Board of Elections website to find your designated voting site. And if you missed any of our candidate interviews, you can catch them on our YouTube page at youtube.com/PGCTV online. And don't move. After the break, Simon Buggs has the Friday Sports page.
What's going on, everybody? I've got a nice sports page lined up for you as Commanders tight end Ben Sinnott reveals what he thinks will play a pivotal role in the team having success this season and beyond. That story and more coming right up. Don't move.
There's plenty of room to swim in the water, but stay away from the boat, especially while it's running. That way you can avoid serious injury from a rocking boat, the propellers, or exposure to carbon monoxide. This allows a captain to assess the head count and proximity to swimmers.
Okay, everybody, are you ready? Because it's time for your Friday Sports page. We begin with some news from the NFL as the Washington Commanders continue to prep for the season as the team is in the midst of training camp. Training camp is a time where you build not only chemistry and camaraderie with your teammates, but also trust as well. CTV Sports caught up with tight end Ben Sinnott after practice, and he believes that trust will play a big role in the success of the team.
Every play, you got to be able to trust the guy next to you. You got to trust the coaches to make the right call. You got to trust the kicker, the quarterback. You got to trust everybody on your team. We really want to form a culture where we're brothers, we're close, and I think that's kind of what we're doing. DQ is implementing a great system, and the rest of the coaching staff are really putting that together, and I think we're building something really special with guys being able to really learn about each other, learn about our stories, and be able to have that trust, 1s through 4s, everybody on the team. So I think we're coming a long way, and it's just going to continue to grow over time.
Meanwhile, get excited, basketball fans. The Team USA men's basketball quest for gold officially begins this weekend as they will take the court versus Serbia in their first matchup of the Olympic Games. This team's absolutely loaded as it is filled with all-stars, MVPs, and champions. And point guard Stephen Curry, who's making his Olympic debut, touched on the level of talent and chemistry the team has heading into the matchup.
There's a lot of different skill sets on our team. We've seen what Bron's been doing in the last couple of games, especially closing out games. So the chemistry is pretty natural. And again, you just have confidence. Whoever has the ball, you make a play, be yourself, and hopefully something good comes out of it. And that chemistry's been there so far. Hopefully it continues.
Team USA will take the court on Sunday. Switching gears to minor league baseball, the Bowie Bay Sox will return to action tonight against the Akron Rubber Ducks at 7:05. Bowie has won 2 out of their last 3 games against Akron coming into tonight. And finally, the Baltimore Orioles will also take the diamond tonight. The Birds will match up against the San Diego Padres at 7:05 also. And that wraps up your Friday Sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, and Saturday it's going to be nice and sunny with a high of 90. Sunday will also be sunny with a high of 92 and low of 71. Monday, we're looking at a high of 92 as well, but we have a 30% chance of rain Monday night. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again Monday. Good night.